Welcome back to my shop again. This morning I thought what we would do is make this little decorative tulip. I saw a plan a while back on the internet for a wooden tulip, something like this, but I couldn't find any plan for it, so I just redrew my own design for the tulip and the pot and everything else, and made it up, and we're going to make this into a nice little decorative piece. Now I did cut one already. Here it is here, and I made this simply as a stick in the ground type of thing. There's a 4-inch nail at the bottom, a dowel in the center, my split tulip on the top, and works out pretty good. But I thought maybe for a little table decoration or something, we would put a little pot on the bottom of it and make it look a little bit fancier with a decorative smile on the side. We're going to cut this out of poplar. I've got a couple of blanks here, one about 9 inches by 5 inches. 2 of those I think will be enough to make all the pieces. Now what we need is we're going to cut out the leaves and the pot together. Now you notice along the edge here, I've got it so that we're going to cut another little pot section out, and we're going to layer it onto the section where we cut the leaf from. We're going to have 2 of these, one on each side. That'll make the base a little bit thicker so it can stand up better. Up at the top, you got the tulip, which is really just some flat surfaces cut. Another 2 sections which are going to glue onto the midsection of the main piece to make our tulip. And we're going to get a 1/4-inch dowel. We'll drill a little hole there, 1/4-inch hole up into the flower, the bottom of the flower, and a 1/4-inch down into the leaves. And we'll glue a dowel in there for the stem. And it ought to look pretty good, I think. So what we're going to do is cut this out now, the pieces we're going to need. And what I did was I made 2 patterns. You might want to do this yourself. And I'm going to cut the base out first, and then I'll use the second pattern to do the inlay so it's properly sized. By the way, if you'd like a copy of this pattern, it's free. You can download it from the link down below. If you can't connect with the link for some reason, it's broken or something, you can always send me an email, abagetta@comcast.com, and I'll be glad to send it to you. Just let me know what you're looking for. Okay, so let's get started with this by cutting out the lower section first. I think we'll do that since I'm not quite sure how that's going to work. I just did the other part before, and those worked fine. But I haven't done the pot part yet, so we're going to do that first to see how it works, and we'll progress up to the actual flower section. What I've done here now is I've cut out the pattern that I'm going to need to work with, and I took one of those blanks, the poplar blank, put some masking tape on it, painter's tape, and then I went and put some glue stick on the back of the pattern and stuck it down to the green tape. Now the tape is helpful because it allows you to cut through the wood a little easier, and also it gives you a place to put your pattern. So what we're going to do is take this over to the scroll saw now, and we're going to cut out just generally all around the perimeter of the stem, the leaves, and around the outside of the pot. The inside, remember, we're going to cut separately another piece, and we're going to glue those on either side of the pot to make it a thicker pot when it's done. So I'll see you over at the scroll saw. I have a number 7 reverse tooth blade in here from another piece I was previously cutting, and this is about 1/2 inch, almost 3/4 thick. You don't really need that thick a blade, but I'm going to leave it in there and use it up. And you could also use a number 5, which would work fine too. Okay, let's get this thing cut out. Yes, sirree. Cut it out very nicely. Okay, take this over to the bench. Alright, this came out very nice, no problem. Gotta peel the tape off and the label. And the next thing we're going to work on is the bottom part of the pot. And we're going to cut it like an inlay, not an inlay, but an overlay for the outside of the pot on both sides. Now, I'm just checking it, and this, as I said, is about 3/4 inch, 1/2 inch to 3/4 inch thick wood. And we don't, I mean, it's pretty good on its own. It stands up by itself. But we can make it a little bit thicker. I think we'll be fine. So I'm going to get some 1/4 inch birch ply to cut these overlays on the outside, and we'll do that on the scroll saw too. I'll see you back over there again after I cut out the other pattern, and also I will cut out the other pattern and get the thing taped up and ready to cut. Okay, I'm going to do the bottom of the pot now, the overlays, and I need 2 of them, of course. So what I did was I stacked them and I'm going to tape them together. I'm going to cut them at the same time, save a little bit of work. Also, I drilled the eyes out instead of cutting them, save a little bit of time there. And I did drill a little entry hole so I can cut out the smile. Now when I cut this pot out, I'm going to be cutting on the inside line because these are going to overlay the actual pot we're doing. If you wanted to save time, you could have also used the original pattern. Just peel it off carefully from the original cut that we made and use that. I did a second one. It's completely up to you what you want to do. Okay, I'm going to take this over to the scroll saw now and we'll cut this out. Okay, I sanded down the inner sections of the pot, both of them, and they're cut out of 1/4 inch birch plywood, and now all we need to do is assemble them. Before we glue the overlays on the pot, I thought what we would do is drill a hole for the stem of the flower. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a 1/4 inch drill and we're going to go right down in here, hold it up straight, and drill down maybe about 1/2 inch, not much more than that, to make our hole for the bottom of the stem. I'm going to do that. I've only got 2 hands here, so I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll show you it when it's all done. I drilled that little hole there down in the intersection of the leaves. And as you can see, you can put your dowel right down inside there. A little bit of glue will hold it in nice and tight. And it's a 1/4 inch hole, drilled down about, I'd say about 1/2 inch, and that should take care of that. Okay, I took a little bit of wood glue, put it on the back of one of these pot sections, and now we're going to just lay it down on there, making sure that the bottom is flush with the bottom of the center pot. And you have that little inlay on the side, which is fine. Okay, we're going to do that to both sides and let them dry for a while. Now, while we're waiting for the pot area to dry up a little bit with the glue that we put on it, we're going to cut out the main parts of the rose. We have two sections here. There's one section's all tied together. That's one section of the, I'm sorry, did I say rose? Not rose, a tulip. Okay, we're going to cut out that section first, and then we're going to cut out two sections. These are going to be the side sections of the tulip. They're identical to this piece here. Actually, all I did was take this piece and cut it down the middle, and I shaved off about a 1/4 inch or 1/8 of an inch from each side, because you want this to be a little bit thinner because of the thickness of the center of the tulip. And then later we're going to glue these two pieces onto either side of the main tulip to make our rather cute looking squarish type wood tulip. Alright, so I'm going to go cut these out on the scroll saw. I'll do that off camera. I don't want to burden you with watching that. And I'll come back when that's done and we'll get ready to assemble this thing. Now, before you assemble the other pieces and put them on the sides of the tulip, you want to drill a little hole in the bottom so you can put your other end of the stem in there. Now, I messed it up a little bit when I did it a little off center. Probably best to mark a center point and then drill in. I adjusted it though, so it should be okay when it's done. I'll just fill in that hole with a little bit of sawdust and we'll cover it up so when we paint it you won't even notice it. And a little bit of glue on either petal there, on either side, and then a little clamp will lock it down very nicely. We'll just let that dry now, and the next step we're going to do is see if it attaches to the stem properly and just how it looks. Well, everything is dried nicely and is completely set. We're going to paint the tulip red, so we'll leave it separate. This will be put into the hole on there, and everything will be painted green to the bottom. Could do the pot a different color if I wanted to, but I think for simplistic purposes I'm going to just go with green for now. Okay, finished off the project. Painted the bottom green and the flower is painted red. Came out pretty good. And here's the old one. This is with a little spike put in the bottom. You can just plant that in the ground if you want. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this project. If you did, click the good button down below there, and you might want to think about subscribing to the channel too. See if I come up with some other projects you might like to do. Thank you for watching.